And we want to begin with a traffic impact alert after a fatal crash on the 52. It is 6 a.m. I'm Eric Connors.
And I'm Netta Irampour. So let's start with Vanessa Paz this morning with a check on what's happening there. The 52 gets so busy normally. Right. Vanessa, what's going on?
Yeah, if you live in the UTC or La Jolla area and use the 52, bottom of the Golden Triangle, you want to pay attention. We're following a fatal crash, as Netta and Eric just mentioned. And this has all traffic diverted to Genesee Avenue. So here's where it is. You can see that area highlighted in the purple, meaning that crews have those lanes completely shut off to traffic. What they're doing is they're forcing all drivers to exit Genesee. That off-ramp and the on-ramp to 52 West from Genesee is closed. So how can you get around this? Well, you're going to have to exit Genesee Avenue and then take Governor westbound and then get on Regents south to the 52. And that's how you get around that this morning. Otherwise, if you are before the 52, you can exit Balboa, head west that way, or you can just avoid this area altogether and head on the 805 to the top of the Golden Triangle where the 5 and the 805 merge. But yeah, if you're using that route this morning, you want to give yourself some extra time. As of right now, travel isn't bad. Again, it's mainly the 52 between the 5 and the 805 that we're worried about. Chopper 8 should be live over that scene any minute now, so we will continue to bring you updates and a live pick when we get that. Back to you guys.
This morning,
yeah, and we want to get a check of the forecast really quickly before we head back to Netta and Eric. You can see outside right now, it's a gorgeous start to the day. This helps kind of tell the story of what the rest of the day and the rest of the week is going to look like. Partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies expected. Sunrise still a few minutes out, but you can see how we're in that twilight phase ahead of it. 73 this afternoon out by the coast, 81 across our inland valleys. We'll be seeing those temperatures trend about 10 to 20 degrees above normal as that ridge of high pressure stays in place. Coming up, we'll talk more about what to expect through the rest of the week, including that chance for some cooler temperatures by the weekend and early next week. Back to you.
All right, now to your headlines here this morning. Airlines resuming operations in Puerto Vallarta after a Mexican government operation killed a cartel kingpin. El Mencho was the leader of the powerful Jalisco New Generation cartel, a major trafficker of drugs into the U.S. The cartel's reaction turned the streets of various towns into what looked like war zones on Sunday. This morning, we're hearing from people living in Tijuana, where several cars and buildings were set on fire. Things seemed calmer yesterday.
Definitely tension. There's cops all over the place. A heightened presence of military as well.
While schools were closed, some businesses reopened with caution. For the latest on the situation in Mexico, download the CBS 8 app on your TV and watch for free.
Later today, San Diego City Council expected to approve a multi-million-dollar settlement for insurance companies.
In January of 2024, the historic rain overwhelmed neighborhoods like Southcrest and Mountain View, destroying or badly damaging dozens of homes. News 8's Jenny Day live in Southcrest to explain what this means for insurers here. Jenny?
Yeah, it was more than 2 years ago now when I stood with many of these families in ankle-deep water, their living rooms and bedrooms all filled with mud, and many of them still have not completely recovered, but they are hopeful that this first settlement does eventually lead to them being able to close this latest chapter. This money, however, the $6.3 million already approved by the San Diego City Council in November and now set to be finalized today, will go directly to 17 different insurance companies to recover what they initially paid out to these flood victims in 2024. They had sued the city, claiming the damage was so bad because they had not properly maintained the channels and stormwater drains. They were filled with trash and overgrown vegetation. So we'll see how much, if any, money actually gets back into the hands of these flood victims. In addition to these insurance agencies, more than 1,500 people impacted by the historic flooding have also sued the city, but they are not set to go to trial until October.
Almost like 90% had to be thrown out, including the structure of the house. I think a great part of what we went through was neglect, and it resulted in something so drastic and dramatic.
Yeah, again, the money today is solely to reimburse the insurance agencies. It'll still be months before we know if the actual victims will be compensated, but it's actually getting a whole lot lighter earlier, so we can start to see this storm channel that we're right next to here, and that water would have had to rise at least 20 feet, and it did so. It poured into these homes, so kind of wild to see, but they tell me that it is definitely being better maintained since they have anxiety anytime it rains, but this latest round of rain, they did not see any flooding. So certainly glad to hear that. Live in South Crest this morning, Jenny Day, News 8.
Right now, registration for California's Dream for All program is open.
This program offers up to 20% in down payment assistance. News 8's Chris Groh live in Claremont to explain who qualifies for this. Chris.
Yeah, look, we know that buying a home here in California may seem like something that is not possible to a lot of people, especially with the home prices and where they are right now. But the California Dream for All program is trying to bridge that gap. So we're working for you. We're breaking it down in case you heard about this in recent years and either missed out or maybe did not think that you qualified or had a shot at this. So let's break down who it is qualifies for the Dream for All program and what it is that it entails, because there are some people who still may not feel like it fits for them. So this offers up to 20% for down payment or closing costs, capped at $150,000. It is not first come, first served. So when things open up today, it's a chance to get into the randomized drawing. But to qualify, you must be a first-generation home buyer, meaning the first person in your family to buy a home. You also must be a first-time home buyer yourself and a California resident. Your income must also fall within the county limit of where you are buying. We have more information on that on our website. But when you sell, transfer the home, or pay off your first mortgage, you still have to repay the original down payment loan plus a share of the home's appreciation. So if you're selected, you are going to have a short window to find a home, about 90 days. We spoke with a local real estate agent about what else people need to know and a little bit more about how much you could owe if you do sell that home. Take a listen.
Basically, if you purchase the home, $700,000 today, and later on down the road you find that the home is appreciated, to $800,000. So if you sell the house and you gain, $200,000 to $300,000 from it, 15 to 20% of that equity is going to go back to the program because that actually helps fund it more again in the future.
Yeah, so again, even if you got up to $150,000, as Raul Lopez, again, the real estate agent, pointed out there, the equity that you build, you're going to owe some of that back to the state in order to try to continue to fund this program. Now, there is another program that is being offered by the city of San Diego that is aimed at those who are middle income, who don't maybe qualify for a lot of these down payment assistance programs. It's only $50,000 at most, 40 for down payment, 10 for closing costs. You can find more about it by going to our website, cbs8.com, and clicking on that story link. Back to you guys in the studio.
Chris, thank you for that. In less than an hour, over 31,000 unionized nurses and healthcare professionals at Kaiser Permanente facilities in California and Hawaii will be returning to work. They've been on strike for about 4 weeks, as we've been reporting live here. Union officials said in a statement there's been significant movement at the bargaining table on a new contract. Okay, we do want to check back in with Vanessa now. This fatal on the 52, Vanessa. Chopper 8's there. Okay.
Yeah, Chopper 8 has just arrived on scene on the 52 over this fatal crash. And right now, the 52 West is completely shut down to traffic between Genesee and Regents Avenue. So it looks like they were over the scene. And again, things are really quiet on the westbound end because traffic is completely, because crews have completely shut down again, those lanes to anyone headed westbound towards the 5 connector. Let's go ahead and showcase exactly where this is happening on our traffic maps. You can see that those lanes highlighted in purple, indicating that those lanes are completely closed right now, right at Regents. Traffic is being forced and diverted to Genesee, that off-ramp there. The on-ramp to 52 West is also closed to traffic at last check. So alternate routes, Genesee Avenue, you could head west on Governor Drive and then south to Regents to hop back on the 52 West. Otherwise, if you're on the 805 and want to completely avoid this area, you could exit Balboa, head west that way, or you could just take the 805 all the way towards the top of the Golden Triangle where the 5 and the 805 merge if you're going anywhere north of the Sorrento Valley area. All right, let's go ahead and see what the travel looks like in terms of the times and the speeds. We're still at average speeds for those headed westbound, so it's not having a big impact, as you can imagine, for the southbound drives in from the North County. About a 10-minute ride in from Oceanside and Escondido. Full span of the 78 at last check up in the North County near Escondido, about 15 minutes. All right, 6:09 is the time. Let's go ahead and pull up those border wait times. We're tracking about an hour 40 to get you in from San Ysidro's port of entry. If you're traveling in from Otay Mesa to cross over, it'll take you about 45 minutes at last check.